Before we dive into Python coding, I want to give you a brief introduction to Markdown. It's a lightweight markup language that lets you accompany your calculations with beautifully formatted descriptions, images, and equations. Its simplicity makes it very convenient to use, and it's easy to quickly create well-formatted text. I know what you might be thinking. Hey, I'm here to learn Python, not formatting. And you're absolutely right. Python is our main goal. But if you want to submit your calculations to a client or a reviewer, they might wonder, where did this come from? What assumptions did you use? Markdown lets you put those answers right there alongside your code to create a compelling narrative. It's also very easy, so I thought this would be a good start to the course. Unlike complex word processors, where you waste time with formatting menus, Markdown lets you focus on what matters, your content. You write plain text, add a few symbols, and instantly get formatted headings, tables, equations, and more. Most importantly, consistency is guaranteed. Okay, let's dive in. Here's our notebook, which you can find on the course GitHub repository. The cell at the top includes the details of what we cover in this video. You'll see this format in the other notebooks too. The other cells indicate individual contents, and we'll fill them as we go. Let's start with headings. Double-click on the cell to get into edit mode. To define headers, we use the hash sign. The more hashes you add, the lower the header level. So 2 hash signs is header 2, 3 hash signs is header 3, and so on. To render the text, just execute the cell by pressing Shift plus Enter. Note that you can use these headers to navigate your document. In VS Code, you can find them in the Explorer under Outline. We can define horizontal rules with 3 stars, 3 hyphens, or 3 underscores. These are great for clearly separating different parts of the document. New paragraphs are simple. Just press Enter twice to indicate a new paragraph. There must be a blank line between the paragraphs. Note that pressing Enter once means there is no separating line, and when rendering the cell, the compiler will merge the lines into a single paragraph. Let me undo this. This brings me to line breaks. If you have 2 lines adjacent to each other, the compiler simply merges them together. If you want to insert a line break within the same paragraph, press space twice or more at the end of the upper line. Once again, if you don't, or press space only once, the lines will be merged. Now, let's talk about font formatting. Markdown makes it really easy to style your text. For italics, just wrap your text in a single asterisk or underscore on both sides. For bold, use double asterisks or double underscores. Want to combine them? Use triple asterisks for bold and italics. And finally, for strike-through, use double tildes on both sides. Next up, we have lists. Markdown supports 2 main types. First, bullet points. Just use an asterisk, a plus sign, or a hyphen at the start of each line, like this. And that gives you a clean bulleted list. Second, numbered lists. Just use numbers with a period at the start of each line. And Markdown automatically handles the numbering for you, even if you use the same number repeatedly. As I did here for the third item, it'll render correctly. You can also nest lists by indenting items with spaces or tabs. Moving on to images. Let's display the channel logo using img.png file in the same location as the notebook. Markdown has a native syntax for images, which looks like this. The path in parentheses points to your image file. The text in square brackets is the alternative text in case the image doesn't load. So if the file path is wrong, you will see the alternative text instead. Let me correct the path so it works. However, standard Markdown has some limitations when it comes to image sizing. you can't easily control the width or height. That's where HTML comes in. Since Jupyter Notebooks support HTML, you can use an img tag instead, which gives you much more flexibility. The src attribute indicates the source path. You can use attributes like width or height to define size in pixels, or use the style attribute for even more control over sizing, alignment, and other styling. This is why I typically use HTML formatting. Links are straightforward in Markdown. For example, here's a link to the channel's GitHub. The display text goes in square brackets, and the URL goes in parentheses. Let's render it and test it. Great! I can open the repository. You can also link the sections within your document using a hash and the section name. Let's jump to heading section. This works well. Equations are one of my favorite features in Jupyter. Markdown supports LaTeX, which is the gold standard for mathematical typesetting. For inline equations, just wrap your LaTeX code in single dollar signs. Here we have the area of a circle, a equals pi r squared. For equations that need to stand out, you can use display mode with double dollar signs. Let's say I want to show the area and perimeter of a circle. I'll use the align environment to align both equations at the equal sign. The ampersand tells LaTeX where to align, and the double ampersand with text gives us a description for each equation. So we have area equals pi r squared and perimeter equals 2 pi r, both neatly aligned and labeled. If you already know LaTeX, you'll feel right at home. If you don't worry. There's plenty of resources to get what you need. Now let's look at how to format code in Markdown. For inline code, like a variable name or a short snippet, just wrap it in backticks. For example, var equals 2 shows up as code inline with your text. For larger blocks of code, use fenced code blocks with triple backticks. Everything between them gets rendered as a code block with monospace formatting. You can also specify the language for syntax highlighting by adding the language name after the opening triple backticks, like Python for Python code, which adds colored syntax highlighting, making your code much more readable. This is very useful when you want to show code examples in your documentation. Block quotes are used to emphasize important information or highlight key takeaways. The syntax is simple. Just use the greater than sign at the start of a line, like this. You can also nest them by adding multiple greater than signs. Each level adds another layer of indentation. This is great for organizing quotes, callouts, or drawing attention to something specific. Finally, we have tables. Tables are great for organizing data in a structured format. The syntax uses pipes to separate columns. The first row defines your headers. The second row uses hyphens to define the table structure. And then you fill in your data, row by row. Here's a simple example. 2 headers, 2 rows of data. Let's see how this renders. Okay, this looks fine. You can also control alignment. A column on the left aligns left. Columns on both sides center, and the column on the right aligns right. One thing to remember, you don't need to perfectly align the pipes in your source code, and you don't need to have the same number of hyphens as long as there are at least 3. Markdown will render it correctly as long as the structure is right. Alright, that's it for this video. Next time we'll cover Python basics.